Shalom. So I was at work and I'm going to use, the Holy Spirit was talking to me, Ruach HaKodesh was talking to me, and I'm going to use my own personal life to illustrate what he was saying to me today. So he was talking about the importance of making sure we are following after his will for our lives and not our own, because it's more than just our own selves that are affected by the decisions that we make. So for instance, he was talking about covert spiritual warfare. We all know what the overt spiritual warfare is. I mean, it's the stuff that, it's obvious that you're under attack, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But then there's the covert spiritual warfare that a lot of times we mistake it for God, because in our head we think when good stuff happens to us it's God, and when bad stuff happens to us it's the enemy, when sometimes what we deem as bad is actually God, because he knows what we need. He knows what we need to be protected from, so on and so forth. So the example that he gave me, so I work in a kitchen at a hotel. Not a bad job. During this pandemic, it's not the best job, but since I've been there, I have been able to minister to quite a few people. And just one day out of the blue, I get an email from Career Builder. Well, it's actually a text message from somebody that got my resume off of Career Builder, and they wanted me to do an interview for a work from home position, something that I actually want to do because I'm a single mother, and the pay, phenomenal. Then it's work from home, phenomenal. And mind you, the job that I currently have right now is like not cutting it when it comes to paying my bills. However, before this season started, Abba told me that he was going to send me into a season where I just completely trust and rely on him. So, first and foremost, I have to remember that word that he gave to me. Second of all, it seems like, hey, this is a good decision because I have a child. I have bills to pay. However, it contradicts, that job contradicts what he told me for this season. So, I prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And my answer came this morning when he was talking about territorial guards. I think I did a video some months back about demonic territorial guards, but one of the things that he was talking to me about today was the fact that he puts his children in specific areas and specific places to be a territorial guard against the enemy. So the example that I'm giving is, if you're in a job that it seems like it's a service, I'm trying to figure out a good way to put it, a service job, any type of service job. And let's say, you have the respect of your coworkers. When you talk about God, they listen, they ask you questions, you pray there, because I praise and worship at my job in the back where I work. I think one time I saw something try to manifest itself, and I started praying and praising and worshiping. I ain't seen that sucker since. My boss even asked me yesterday, have you met the resident ghost back there? And I'm like, yep, and I made him leave. Like, we don't play games. But that's just an example of what I'm saying. Like, sometimes he has you in a place where he is using you for the people in that place. And so the reason why it's called covert spiritual warfare is because the first thing that the enemy does is sends you something that would tempt you away from your post. We see him do this in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 through 11, when he is talking to Yeshua in the desert, in the wilderness. And he is literally offering Yeshua the kingdoms of the world, something that he was already going to have through his sacrifice. But Satan was offering it to Yeshua without the sacrifice. And so many times because we equate good things happening to us being from God and bad things happening being from the enemy, we're so easily seduced away from our post And once we're gone, it leaves the enemy open to do whatever. However, now understand, Yahuah is sovereign, so he can easily send someone else in there. But let's do this scenario. You move out of post, and then the person that he calls to replace you, since you moved, decides that they're not going there because, let's say, they're already working at a job that's paying a lot and they're comfortable, and they're like, I'm not gonna go there and make less money. So now these people are open. Again, Yahuah is sovereign. He has the ability to protect them, whatnot, so forth. But he uses people. He works in and through people. So it's not just about us and what he has for us and what it's more than that. Our salvation is not just for us. It's for every single person that we encounter in our walk with Yahuah. So don't jump on everything that's good. Submit it to him and ask him first. Because, again, the enemy masquerades like an angel of light. So sometimes if he knows that you love money, he will seduce you away from your post by dangling this. I mean, the job, it makes sense logically to me to take the job, or at least interview for the job, because it's not like they're offering me, they're asking me to interview. It makes sense to me logically to take it. But Yahuah said, no, I have you where I want you to be. And I told you what you were going to have to do in this season. And this season is also going to affect the coming seasons, because this season I'm learning to completely 100% rely on him. If I don't get this lesson in this season, then when I move into the next season, I'm not going to be prepared. I'm not going to be prepared. So it's not just going to affect the season, it's going to affect the seasons to come and the people in the seasons to come. Because again, my salvation's not just for me. Just something to think about. Covert spiritual warfare. It's real, it happens, we have biblical proof of it. So just be aware, submit it to him first. I'm not saying that he doesn't bless us with stuff like this, because he does. Yahuah does bless us. Like if it's time for you to move, or if sometimes he does give you that better job with the better insurance and all this other stuff. Sometimes he does, but sometimes it's not him. The whole point of this is just saying, submit it to him first. Don't just move based on your feelings and your thoughts and your opinions of what you think that he's doing. Ask him first. All right. Love you guys. Shalom Aleichem.